You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Wednesday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby. I really love election season, and I know that sounds funny because we complain about all the times we have to go to the polls and stuff like that, but it's such a great way to find out how all the people in your neighborhood think. Have you started seeing signs go up where you live?
There's people that still have their signs up from the provincial election in my neighborhood. They never took them down.
Dude, I don't know what happened. It's like everybody in my neighborhood got together overnight and decided we love the Liberals, which not surprising, in Kingston's kind of a liberal town.
Yeah.
But holy shit, are there a lot of red signs in my neighborhood.
I'll say this. I don't give a shit who you vote for, but I've always just thought it was weird to just put it on your front lawn.
Yeah, like it does feel like even I'll see signs for a candidate that I not in this election, but like in the past, that I don't care for. And I'll drive by somebody's lawn and I'll be like, oh, I bet a real asshole lives there. And it's like, what a feeling to have for someone who just put up a weird road sign.
Yeah.
I wouldn't invite that. Like, no one's putting a sign on my yard.
Yeah, it's like putting a bumper sticker on your car. Like, I've never been that kind of guy either. I just don't get why you need to showcase it, why you need to tell everybody else. Like,
what would you think if people started putting up signs in their yard based on their favorite sports teams?
I mean, people have the flags out there.
That's true. You'll see like the little Toronto Maple Leafs parking.
There's a guy in my neighborhood who has a Miami Dolphins flag that he hangs up high, and I'm like, are you just trying to do you need a therapist? Like,
dude, they don't fly Miami Dolphins flags in Miami.
Are you asking someone to call in a mental wellness check for you? Is that what this is?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You know that there's a UFC in Montreal in May?
Yeah, the card's pretty meh.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything about the fights or the fighters. All the focus has been, do you hear Joe Rogan say he's not coming?
No.
Yeah, apparently he's not happy with Canada, the way things are running. I guess he's not a fan of Mark Carney.
So he's not going to do the commentary?
So he was doing one of his podcasts with Brendan Schaub and a couple other people where they watch UFC and sort of react to it. And someone asked him about it, and this is what he had to say.
I won't be there. I don't go to Canada anymore. I don't. No, nor should you. No, discipline him. Yeah, I'd rather go to Russia.
He would rather go to Russia.
And
that is an unedited quote, by the way. He'd rather go to Russia than come to Canada, even if it's for work.
That's okay. Don't come.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of over the Joe Rogan UFC thing. Like, I've never really found that he adds a lot when he's doing commentary.
I don't have anything against Joe Rogan doing commentary, but I mean, if you're going to slight our country, then just don't come, dude.
Yeah.
That's okay with me.
Especially because, they have other people. Like, he's notorious for not doing shows he has to travel for.
I hope they just bring George St. Pierre in and he can be like, this guy. Watch this guy. Oh.
Honestly, he would probably, first of all, he would be getting cheers the whole night.
You could do a whole drinking game every time he says, this guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you could just have him giving really great insight, or just any other Canadian would fit well. Like, there's so many people we could put in that seat. It doesn't even have to be a real person. There's so many Canadian characters. Get Red Green in there. I saw Red Green on a podcast the other day. I was like, this man's still alive?
Don Cherry hasn't done anything in a while. Get him in there. Ooh.
Oh, dude, Don Cherry sitting side cage going, God, this guy's tougher than a $2 steak, I tell you. I love it.
Good Canadian. Good.
Where's that Georgie St. Pierre? That GST, I tell you, he knew what he was doing.
I would love to see Don Cherry at UFC.
Or even what's that Jared Kiso guy from
Shorzy?
Letterkenny? Get Shorzy in there. Oh, great scrapping, bud. How about next time you hit him with something other than your mouth?
Have him do the interviews. He's just handing out drumsticks to people afterwards.
Going up to the guy who lost. Buddy, you couldn't finish an ankle lock if you were Ken Shamrock winning the Intercontinental Championship.
You know what? Honestly, why don't we just have the Trailer Park Boys do the whole commentary? You have Ricky, Julie, and Bubbles out there.
Just someone gets floored or a dirty knee or something.
Oh, that's greasy.
That's really greasy.
Yeah, it's greasy. Greasy.
Someone gets knocked out.
Bam!
Dude, have all of them stay home and just have the Trailer Park Boys do the full broadcast.
You have Randy without his shirt doing in-ring announcing.
Dude, he's the ring card.
He's the ring girl.
He's carrying the card numbers around. Oh, God rest his soul. Imagine having Jim Leahy do post-fight interviews.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Trying to come up with ideas for how we can make UFC Montreal coming up in May feel a little more Canadian. Joe Rogan has gone on his podcast that he's not coming to Canada, doesn't like coming to Canada. He takes issue with the government. That's up to him. But we were thinking, like, this opens up a spot for some great Canadian talent to step through. And we got a text saying, guys, you know who would be great at UFC Montreal that we haven't heard from in a while?
Who's that?
Well, Billy Shakes, our Canadian Shakespeare. The way that Shakespeare spoke so poetically about so many different things, he could have some real interesting lines at a mixed martial arts event.
Oh, for sure. Give every man cauliflower ear, but few thy belt.
Yon fighter doth throw lefts and rights like doubles at firstborn's Timothy Hortons.
To tap or not to tap, bud? That's the friggin' question.
By Gordy Howe's ghost, I've never seen such violence. 'Tis a thing of beauty.
All the world's a cage, and all these buds be giving her.
What bone on yonder buddy breaks? 'Tis his ankle, boys, and this one's over.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
It is Queen Week here on the station. We're going to be sliding in some deep tracks from Queen throughout the rest of the week. And, of course, Howard Manshine will have Queen on the Sunday Night Vinyl series as well. I was thinking, since it is Queen Week here on the station, let's do something we haven't done in a while. Let's just censor some Queen songs. There's a lot of Queen songs that you can honestly just make sound way dirtier.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
Somebody to Love.
Somebody.
I've seen that guy at the bar on a Friday night. He's working hard.
You can censor out random lyrics in almost any Queen song. One of my favorites is Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one.
And another one gone, and another one gone.
Another one gone. And it's great because you could censor the bite, you could censor the dust. Either way, it's still going to leave your imagination
I'm going to get
running.
you too, yeah. Of course, a classic.
Yup.
Well, my favorite part that you could do that with is...
Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street. You're gonna take on the world someday. You got on your face, the big disgrace, waving your all over the place.
It's up to you how you interpret it.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You might be sitting on a small fortune if you own the classic Hudson's Bay Company white striped blanket.
Was that?
Have you not seen this? So the Hudson's Bay Company going into liquidation. They're closing all but 6 stores in Toronto and Montreal. Apparently, they are out, or it's really hard to come by those classic Hudson Bay blankets.
Like the
now.
white ones with the colored stripes on them?
That's right. Iconic blankets. So people have taken to the internet. The first one I saw was a screenshot. Someone in your old hometown of Milton was trying to sell theirs on Facebook Marketplace for $4,500.
Get out of here.
Used, mind you.
Get out of here.
Admittedly used. The picture was the blanket draped over the back of the couch.
So people are just reselling their HBC blankets right now?
They're trying to cash in on the nostalgia and the excitement and the desperation of people who want to own this piece of classic
Brother,
Canadian
I
armor.
gotta visit my grandma because she's sitting on a gold mine.
She's
right?
stacked up?
Oh, yeah.
There's one right here. I'm looking on eBay. This is an active item you could bid on right now. HBC Hudson Bay multi-stripe king-size blanket, $35.50 or best offer. $3,550 or best offer.
I'm gonna start checking every Value Village and Salvation Army now, man.
I feel like they're out there, right? Like these were the blankets that you never even questioned where they came from. Every home had one.
Can we also agree that they're not even that good of a blanket either?
They go over the back of the couch because they're too itchy to wrap yourself up in.
They're never long enough to actually lay with either.
They're great for decor. Like they're a great throw blanket to punch up an old dirty couch. But they suck to actually, like, could you imagine going to bed sleeping under a Hudson's Bay blanket?
No, that's the kind of thing that your buddy gave you at a sleepover and your toes were just cold all night.
Yeah, they're let me get you a blanket and a pillow, and you're wrapped up under the stripes, shivering
People are
away.
selling these things for $3,000 though. That's insane.
By comparison, I was looking at some other stuff I found on Kijiji. There's a Nova Scotia municipality selling a 1999 Zamboni brand Zamboni for less than you would pay to buy a Hudson's Bay blanket right now.
That's the most Canadian posting I think I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Dude, imagine being able to tell people that you own a Zamboni, that you just have one at home. Way more Canadian than an HBC blanket.
Oh, for sure, bud.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What is the most Canadian thing you own?
The most Canadian thing I have in my house is when I was a young lad, my dad took me out to see a man called Terry Fox running across Canada, and I got a picture and I got it signed. Can't get any more Canadian than that, I think.
Do you have it framed?
I have it framed. I have it on the wall. I have a little light over it.
What was it like meeting Terry Fox?
You know, I was really young. I don't think I really understood how great of a moment it was. Now, as I'm an older person, I just feel it was just an honor and something amazing, and it's just a great thing that happened.
It does make sense, though, that at that age, you just be like, Dad, why is this man running in the rain?
Exactly the way it was. I was whining, saying, I want to go to McDonald's.
A lot of people texting in saying they got Walter Gretzky autographs. I think everybody's met Walter Gretzky at least once in their life.
That dude got around, considering it was really his son that was the famous one. Yeah. Everybody has a Walter Gretzky story. It's crazy.
We got someone else here on the line. What's the most Canadian thing you've got in your house?
My parents, they have this bear statue you see right as you walk into their house there, and it has deer antlers on it.
That is amazing.
I think that's the most Canadian thing I've ever seen.
What's the story behind that beauty?
I think they got it as a gift from one of their friends there, and he got it all done up with chainsaw work, and yeah.
And it's like wood carved?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do they hang anything on it?
I don't know. They have another bear statue in their bathroom with a bear holding a toilet paper roll and his hands over his eyes there. But
noticing a theme to the decor.
Yeah, very woodland.
Finally, we've got Dustin here on the line. Dustin, what's the most Canadian thing in your house, buddy?
Oh, a few beaver pelts for sure, boys. Me and a friend of mine, we actually ended up trapping them.
What do you do with it? Like, do they just sit around the house? Are they waiting for a project, or?
No, we commercially harvest them and sell them to the Fur Managers Federation.
Considering Hudson Bay companies going out of business, sounds like you just stepped in to replace them.
Yeah, that's Canada's oldest industry, still in practice, so it's pretty Canadian, I guess.
The closest thing I've ever come to anything with a beaver is owning a Roots sweater, to be honest with you.
Not unless you got a nickel in your pocket, I guess.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Got friend of the show, Brother Jay, on the phone. You wanted to add to the most Canadian thing in your home?
It's actually my dad who's got it, but it's still the best thing ever. You know, everybody gets like their deer head or something mounted. My dad asked his buddy if he could get the ass of a deer mounted. and that's what's hanging on the wall, man.
You know what? Nobody said you can't just hang other parts of the deer on the wall.
Honestly, I would rather have one dead eye stare out at me than two.
Oh my God, I got to tell my dad that one.
You should tell him to put it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
No, the bathroom, he's got all kinds of different pictures of the animals taking crap.
Dude, get one of those automatic Glade air freshener sprayers and plug it in so that it comes out the back end of the deer every like 20 minutes or so.
Have the little tail lift up when it does it too.
Just a little
That's brilliant. He gave me some good ideas.
There you go, brother. Use them in good health.
Keep smiling, boys.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
If you listen to this show, you know that Dalby and I are obsessed with minor league baseball team logos.
Absolutely. They're the best.
They always do those kind of alternative team names. And so the Baltimore Orioles have a team called the Chesapeake Bay Sox, and they unveiled their new alternative design. And,
is this the mitt?
The area is known for, catching oysters.
Yeah.
And so the logo is a baseball glove with an oyster in it, with a baseball instead of a pearl at the top. And let's just say it looks like a female body part.
It is graphic. I had textbooks in high school in the Northwest Territories that did not go into as much detail as this minor league baseball logo.
How did this make it past so many people?
Oh, they knew.
Someone had to, right?
There's no way that this goes from the pen of the artist all the way through marketing and ownership, and not one person went, hey, fellas, do you think maybe this looks familiar?
And just the Oyster Catchers is the team name, too. It just, if I saw someone wearing that hat,
yeah,
I'd be like, where the hell did you get that?
Oh, brother, you're going to see someone wearing that hat. I'm ordering one for sure.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A United States Airlines flight was headed to Shanghai, China earlier this week. Had to turn around after being in the air for about an hour and a half because the pilot forgot to bring his passport.
Sorry. International, professionally employed airline pilot forgot his passport on a flight to China.
Dude, could you imagine? Like, I mean, I get it. You don't want to go to China, be detained.
Sure.
That's also a nightmare for everyone at the airport, double checking their passport. But, dude, how do you mess that up?
Honestly. And also, how are you an hour and a half into the flight when you realize? Do you think he's just like sitting there like, all right, autopilot engaged. I'm just going to get up and stretch my... Oh, no, I've forgotten something very important.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Like, do you think that people got compensated for that on the flight?
Well, they would have to. There would have to be, like, there are, especially if they were leaving from the States, they have rules in place to cover these sorts of things, especially because this is directly the fault of an employee of the airline.
Well, and you know that pilot is never going to hear the end of it. Every time he gets on a flight with his co-pilot, the crew, they're going to be like, you got your passport?
Dude, imagine every flight attendant he works with from now on, they get finished doing the whole, and then you buckle your seatbelt, you put your tray tables up, put your oxygen mask on. Does the pilot have his passport? Okay, we're ready to fly.
I would have loved to hear that on the intercom, just you guys are going to hate me, but...
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What's the biggest mess up you've ever had at work, Baz?
Okay, I'm going to keep some details a bit tight because I don't know the statute of limitations. But I was abroad working with the British military, and my next guy was coming in after a 6-month rotation. So I'm getting the office all sorted out and all neat and tidy, and I'm clearing out a load of junk and a load of rubbish, and I've got a big burn bin outside. A few days later, I was looking for an envelope that contained $3,000 US dollars.
Oh, no.
I couldn't find it. Pretty sure I burned it.
Baz, whose money was it?
It was the Queen's money. Obviously, it was the government. So, I promised I'd pay her back, but that never happened.
Well, yeah, you missed your chance. She's gone now.
Yeah, exactly. But I did some creative accounting, so I covered it up.
You know, so many people try and get back at the government in so many different ways. You might have won.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's tax season, so in a way, I've beaten the system.
Fight fire with fire.
We've also got Trevor on the line. Trevor, would you like to share your biggest mess up at work?
Went and started one of the dump trucks we had in the lineup and walked away from it to let it warm up. Came back to all the engine oil on the ground and the motor was seized.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a big bobo right there.
How cold was it? I got to know.
It was minus 15 out. That's why I let it warm up.
That has got to be like one of the most Canadian mistakes at work.
I know, trying to let it warm up so you're not being hard on it, and it ends up being very hard on it.
That's a true Canadian tale right there.
Hopefully the boss understood. Can't be blamed for that one.
Yeah.
It's just, these things happen.
Finally, we've got friend of the show, Ashley, on the phone. Ashley, would you care to share your biggest mess up at work with us?
All right. So back in my cleaning life, I was cleaning the powder room bathroom at somebody's home, and I don't know, I must have just been doing too good of a job polishing the knob or something, but it ended up coming right off. Like the knob just came off, and the water was on at the time, and so I'm trying my best to get this knob back on. Can't get it on. Can't get the water to turn off. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do here? I'm going to flood these people's home. They're not here. I tried to text them because I had their number. Couldn't get a hold of anybody. I'm like messaging my office, like, what do I do? And
what do you tell them? I broke your knob?
I knew where like the switch was under the sink to turn off the water. So I was like, well, I guess this will do.
Yeah, it's good enough for now, right? You over-polished the knob. Everything got wet. Then you crank it off.
Yeah, like, sorry about your knob, but it's really, really clean.
There's a million dirty jokes going through my mind that I want to say to you, Ashley, but I will not.
Yeah, just the knob just came right off, yeah.
Your restraint is incredible right now.
I'm proud of you. That's 30 for you.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Bands break up all the time for the weirdest reasons, but this might be the craziest one. There's a hardcore band called Gel, who apparently just split up. They're calling it quits after the guitarist. Well, apparently he stole thousands of dollars from the band's bank account, and they say spent a, quote, unbelievable amount on OnlyFans.
Do they just say unbelievable amount? I want so badly to know what the numerical value of unbelievable
There's no
is.
actual total, but they say that was a plethora of his heinous acts is another quote in there. They say he was spending it on OnlyFans, tons of personal food orders for himself, and also paying his own rent.
You pay with the band's money.
Mm-hmm.
The band's money, he would just take it out and give it to the landlord.
The band's called Gel, and maybe you've never heard of them, but they were supposed to play at Coachella in a few weeks, so they were like on the up and up in the hardcore scene.
Damn, calling it quits before what I have to assume is one of the biggest shows they were ever going to play just shows what a dick this guy was.
Now, the worst part is this guitarist who spent all the money on the OnlyFans, he owns the band's names, the rights, the music, all the publishing.
So can't even kick him out and keep going.
No, so I think that's the idea, is they're kind of just like, we might as well just cut our ties.
Well, they'd hate to keep paying for all of his subscription fees.
I was trying to think, though, like, they should still stay together as a band, but I mean, what do you call yourselves, like, Gel 2? Like...
Gel 2.0. Yeah. Gel duh.
Yeah, Gel 2 Electric Boogaloo. Like, maybe they could just switch to lube.
We're not gel, we're cream. Yeah. No, wait, that's taken.
We're KY. Jergens. Bank statement works too as well.
Dippity-doo.
Dippity-doo.
I'd go check out Dippity-doo at Coachella.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Crikey. It's time for animal impressions with Croc and Digby. Sorry, Brock and Dalby.
All right, we've got $100 in Lotto 649 tickets for tonight's jackpot to give away here this morning.
That's right. It is a super draw, so there are 25 guaranteed prizes of $10,000. And then also up for grabs tonight, a chance to win $36 million. All
right, we are looking for some hairy armadillos this morning.
I don't know what it is. It's just something about putting the word hairy in front makes it sound like it's something else.
If you are not one of our 3 hairy armadillos, that does mean you are a judge here this morning. So 762-555, let us know who is the best hairy armadillo. We will start with caller number 1 here. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
Morning, it's Sasha.
All right. You understand how the game works?
I do.
All right. Here's what we need from you. Become a hairy armadillo for us. It's actually really good.
That was pretty good.
That was really good. All right, the hairy armadillo lives within you. Let's see what caller number 2 has
I don't
here.
think you can say that to someone.
Caller number 2, what's your name?
Good morning, it's Sarah.
Sarah, all right. We need you to be a hairy armadillo.
She's already giggling.
Let's see what you got, Sarah. Good job, Sarah.
There we go.
It was good. It was good. I feel like it was a little more crow than armadillo, but I still think you were in the right ballpark.
All right, hang on hold. All right, Sarah?
Cool.
All right, let's see.
I think I bummed her out. You did good, Sarah.
Let's see what caller number 3's got. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
Hi, it's Becky.
Becky, all right. You are our final hairy armadillo. What do you think of the competition?
I was a little worried because they're all ladies, so we could hit those high notes, but I think I'll be all right.
Okay,
All right,
confidence.
Here's what we need from you. Whenever you're ready, Becky.
Becky, do you have kids?
I do.
Yeah, that's definitely someone who's heard a baby crying in the middle of the night.
It also kind of sounded like the tortoise.
Yeah.
All right, stay on hold here. All right, let's weigh it out. We got Sasha, Sarah, and Becky on the line.
Right off the bat, all 3 did great. Those were all full-ass excellent attempts. I will say, again, as a parent of 2, Becky's set off like a little PTSD of the baby crying in the other room. Sure. I felt like Sasha really got it right out the gate.
She started it off pretty hot.
I think, because again, I think Sarah, and again, I'm not trying to be mean, but had like a little bit more crow vibe. Whereas I feel like Sasha really got the armadillo.
Text line seems to agree. Sasha, line one. All right.
Let's do it.
Sasha, are you still there?
I am.
Congratulations. You get yourself a ding and a round of applause. You're the hairy armadillo of the day.
You got yourself $100 in tickets from our friends at OLG for Lotto 649. Big draw tonight. Now, $36 million on the line, Sasha. If you were to go on and win that, do you have any like nickels and dimes for the fellas on the show?
Armadillos for everybody.
Oh my God, yes.
Love to hear it.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Would you rather? Wednesday. Would you rather Wednesday?
All right, let's get weird. 762-555. First one in here says, would you rather have Donald Trump's hair or Elon Musk's physique?
Oh.
Elon Musk has got a weird build. He looks like a PlayStation 2 character.
That's just it. When he was doing those like tour stops with Donald on the campaign trail and he'd come out jumping up like a starfish, not a good look.
Yeah.
But I think I take Donald Trump's hair because I already own all the tools necessary to shave it off. As a man who already shaves his head 2 to 3 times a week, give me the Trump hair.
Plus, it would be nice to have a little bit of hair up there, wouldn't it?
It would be nice on a cold night, you know?
Would you rather clean up vomit or clean out cat litter box? I mean, I feel like the litter box.
I'll say this, it depends where the vomit is. If the vomit is on like a carpeted surface or something like that.
It's so hard to pick up.
It is, but I am that ammonia smell of a cat litter box. We had cats when my wife was pregnant, and when you're pregnant, you're not supposed to be anywhere near it. It's really bad for you. So it became my duty. And I was ready to give the cat up forever.
Actually, I changed my answer. I say the vomit because if I say the litter box thing, I know people are going to message Courtney about that. So I'm bailing on that one.
Get her a cat. Get her a cat.
Would you rather have a mouse or a cockroach run across your chest while you're sleeping?
Oh.
I think you got to go mouse, man.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go mouse because if you got cockroaches in the house, that's bad news bears.
That's just and if a mouse runs across my chest while I'm sleeping, there's a chance he's the only one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just gone wayward. He got into my house. If a cockroach runs across my chest, he almost certainly has backup.
You
somewhere.
literally have to burn your house down.
Just gasoline and a match is the renovation.
Would you rather drink bong water or make out with Tommy Lee?
It's one of the few times I gotta say drink bong water, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna catch something.
I don't want Tommy Lee's mouth anywhere near me.
There's not enough protection on this planet to make out with Tommy Lee and not come away.
There's probably a hint of bong water in Tommy Lee's mouth. Let's get real.
Right. You might as well have just the pure bong water instead of the tainted one.
All right, we'll wrap up with this one. Would you rather be a spokesperson for adult diapers or cold sore cream? So this is a tough one because you're either the representative of I soiled myself, or I've got this thing on my lip. I mean, the cold sore isn't that bad because like everybody's got them, but then
but there's still, even though it's not 100%, or at least I don't know, I'm not a doctor. There's still the stigma that if you have a cold sore, you 100% have herpes, right? And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what people talk about.
It would be tough to go on a first date and be like, "Where do I know you from?"
Whereas I feel like almost everybody on Earth ends up wearing adult diapers at some point or another. Put me on TV with the confidence to own it. Like, yeah, sometimes I can't control myself. What about it?
Do you think you catch a big break after that? Do you think anybody's watching TV and he's like, I know what I've been looking for?
Diaper guy.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. That's my new leading man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe on another upcoming season of The Golden Bachelor.
Have there been any people that have won an Oscar that were in diaper or cold sore commercials?
If I'm being honest, the only diaper commercial person I remember is PJ Stock.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that guy?
Being able to act confident in diapers proves you are a good actor.
Absolutely it does.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Today's word is beget. And so beget. Yep, B-E-G-E-T. Beget. Beget. Anyways, It's to procreate as the father. So I'm definitely not begging. Anyways, and to produce or create, to bring about. You know? Sounds good. Anyways, that just what does it. Have a great one. Cheers.
So it just means like being a dad? Is that what it means?
There's like an olden sort of literary version of it where it's like, a woman could beget a man his rightful heir sort of thing.
Yeah.
But again, that's going like way back.
I do like the way Ed says it.
Beget.
It's like, beget. Beget. What you say to your dog?
I said that to a squirrel in my yard the other day.
Beget.
Hey, beget.
I am going to say I know some buddies that are like having some kids right now. Are going to be like, what's up, beget?
Yeah.
Sounds aggressive.
Well, what you got to do is you got to say it to the missus. Like, oh, thank you for begetting my friend a child.
I don't know what teenagers need to hear this, but if you don't play it safe, you begetting kids.
Yeah, don't be getting. All right?
Yeah.
That's the rule today.
If your relationship is rocky, you be getting alimony payments. Beget. Use it wherever you can, all right?
Want to be a part of the podcast?
Leave a message on the Bad Line.
The Bad Line is the answering machine for the Brock and Dalby Show.
To get the number, text the word BAD to 762-555.
Thanks for listening to the Brock and Dalby podcast.